Shalom to the nation of Israel. This is Barzal coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson to be titled Be Humble. Matthew 18:1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahushua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. And little children are basically humble, right? Because they don't know anything. So they're always open to learn something new, right? They're always open to learn something new. Just give me a second, Slack. Slack, yeah. Yeah, they're always open to learn something new because they're in a humble state, or they're in a sincere state, or a contrite state, or a young state, right? Their minds are like sponges, right? And they know that. They know they don't know anything, right? They might ask questions, but when they get the answer, they accept that as the answer, you know? But he's saying, if you're not like that, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever, verse 4, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Wow. So being humble, or learning how to humble yourself, or being humble, is a very powerful skill. Right? Humility. It's very powerful. And I remember one thing when I first came into the truth, Apostle Gabar said, like, the best thing you can learn is how to be humble. He said it will take you far if you can be humble. Right? That's the one of the main things I remember from saying. And he's right. Because when you're always focusing on being humble, you're always going to keep growing. You're going to grow a lot faster. Right? Instead of being prideful. Right? You're not going to grow as fast. Because the Lord doesn't deal with prideful people. He talks about it all throughout the scriptures. Right? And you see what happens to the people that are prideful. They catch heavy judgment. Right? So that's not the way you want to be. You got to learn how to be humble. 1 Peter 2:1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisy and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. Right? So we got to act like newborn babes, because when a baby's born, right, it wants milk. It wants milk, because it's weak. So it has to be humble to receive that milk, right? Right? And it has to be humble to know to even ask for milk. Because like some people, when they're prideful, even though they need help, they won't ask for it because of their pride. Right? If you're in a state of humility, right? If you need help, you're going to ask for it. It's like, you know what? I need help. Can you help me? Right? You don't have that pride. So now we're going to go to Matthew 23:12. Oh. Matthew 23:12. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So I believe abase is brought down low. I believe that's what the word means. Yeah. To make low, bring low, to level, reduce to a plane, to bring into a humble condition, reduce to meaner circumstances. So yeah, sometimes the Lord has to bring you to a low state to humble you, to put you back in your place, to understand who's in control here, right? But the scripture says, "He that," as it continues, it says, "And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." So the Lord will exalt you if you humble yourself. But when He exalts you, you have to still stay humble, right? That's the balance. You gotta still stay humble, because if you get too prideful into the fact you got exalted, He'll just have to bring you back down again, and you gotta do it all over again, right? Ecclesiasticus 7:16. Number not thyself among the multitude of sinners, but remember that wrath will not tarry long. Humble thyself greatly, for the vengeance of the ungodly is fire and worms, right? So the ungodly, which is the wicked, and the ones that are being wicked, they're the ungodly, right? Because even the 2/3 right now, they're acting like the heathens. So you can consider them part of the ungodly. But the main ungodly are the Edomites. They don't believe in the Most High, even though they know He is real, but they don't believe in Him, right? So humble yourself so you don't end up like those sinners. Because that's what He says. Remember that wrath will not tarry long. So you need to focus on humbling yourself. Because the ones that are prideful and proud are going to catch destruction. And the ungodly are prideful and proud, which is why it says, for the vengeance of the ungodly is fire and worms. So it's just getting burnt up or being put in the grave, right? Because worms eat decomposing bodies, right? Ecclesiasticus 3:18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself. Yeah, I literally just said that. And thou shalt find favor before the Lord. There you go. That's literally what I just said. Verse 19. Many are in a high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. So yeah, the meek are the people that are low. And to humble yourself, you have to be low. When you humble yourself, you are low. So the Most High reveals His mysteries to the ones that are meek, or the ones that are humble. For the power of the Lord is great, and He is honored of the lowly. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search for things that are above thy strength. So you have to know your place. You have to stay humble. You have to know that, this is above what I know, or what I can comprehend, right? Now we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 10:12. The beginning of pride is when one departs from Yahweh, and his heart, which is his mind, is turned away from his maker. Yeah, when you start to basically become rebellious, become disobedient to Yahweh Shem Shai. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Right? And that's going to happen. That's ultimately going to happen with Esau when he's taken down. Because we're the meek. Right? And he's going to bring forth the strange calamities that are going to overthrow them utterly. Right? And the last one is Psalm 37:11. But the meek shall inherit the earth, which are the elect, right? And also the 1/3, more according to the elect. And then the whole of Israel will come through the elect. But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in abundance of peace. Yeah, so that's when we're in the kingdom, right? That's when we get to relax. And the elect are the ones that are going to be humble, So, it was a very quick one, but I just wanted to point out or talk about the fact of being humble and how important it is to be humble. Because the Lord will be able to deal with you more if you're humble, right? If you get prideful, you think you know everything, He's going to have to humble you to remind you that you don't know everything. You only know what He tells you, right? So I hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect that pushes word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And shalom till next slide.